SALOME Polycos helps regulate menstruation and reduces the male sex hormones. Get the help you need for PCOS with SALOME. Your journey matters.
It is still August, it's all the focus on women's health this month. Now, understanding that everything has risk factors is very important, especially when it comes to our health and our overall well-being. Now, here to discuss the risk factors of infertility is gynecologist and obstetrician Dr. Zandile Dunn. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Jamie. Thanks again for having me.
I think when it comes to infertility, it's very a difficult discussion to have, especially if you're trying to go the route of parenthood or starting the journey of parenthood. But when it comes to the common causes and maybe the risk factors that is associated with women infertility, what are they, doctor?
All right. I think I just want to quickly say infertility is defined as 1 year of regular unprotected sex where you're not falling pregnant. And for younger people, we move it up to 2 years. So the causes are mainly anovulatory, so you don't ovulate. And these vary from ovary that is not functioning well, or factors in the brain, because the hormones in the brain have to talk to the ovary to make the hormones. And so stress, increased exercise, anorexia, and then the other hormones responsible is too much prolactin or too little thyroid hormone. And then early failure of the ovaries. So in some women, less than 40 years, the eggs that we're born with can run out too quickly, and that is called premature ovarian failure. So other causes in the tubes, if your tubes are blocked, is a result of infection or something called endometriosis. The uterine cavity itself can have abnormalities like adhesions or fibroids or endometriosis. And then, yeah, that's mainly it. And yeah.
Common causes. Now, often when it comes to infertility, women find out too late or they don't know the signs and symptoms. What are some of the signs and symptoms that we should be looking out for if we do think that we are infertile?
So, like I said, if you're not falling pregnant within a year, if your menstruation is irregular, so it's important to keep track of your cycle. Women that are overweight sometimes struggle. And then there are other medical problems associated with. So if you're not well or if you're not going for your annual checkup. So it is important because sometimes you don't know. Many women are asymptomatic and they only find out when they consult, when they consult the GP or the gynecologist.
That being said, when it comes to consulting a GP or gynecologist, when is the right time to seek professional help? When do we come and see you?
So if you have missed your period or if your periods are not regular, so most women will have them monthly, some up to 35 days. But if you, or excessive bleeding, excessive hair or male pattern balding, or because that could indicate some ovarian or hormonal problems and changes in the body.
For sure. There's also something called PCOS. Maybe we can just explain to our viewers what that is, and are there any treatment options available to that? Are there long-term options available for treating PCOS?
Yeah, so PCOS is a polycystic ovarian syndrome. So it generally is polycystic ovaries, but that your doctor would only pick up on ultrasound. So the other factors is these irregular cycles. Fewer than 4 periods in a year, and then we call it hyperandrogenism, so in other words, increased male hormones. So that you see by hair growth in male pattern, so around the breast, around the tummy, and then, you have balding in the male pattern. A lot of women will present with acne on the face and the body at times. And so the treatment options are directed to the symptoms. So in terms of irregular menses, for women that are not planning on falling pregnant, oral contraceptive pills are a good idea. And then the hair, the hyperandrogenism, there are treatment options like cytosporine, but then we'll use that with estrogen, but that's still hormonal. And, there are other things like waxing, laser, for cosmesis of the hair, because some women get it really on the chin and on the face. And then there are non-hormonal options, because with PCOS, usually the women have insulin insensitivity. So off-label metformin is a non-hormonal drug. It's used for improving fertilities. And then another non-hormonal option is inositol, but it needs to be in the right ratio. So it is important, that it's prescribed or a formulation that has been studied, to work.
Got it. Dr. Zandile, I think it's safe to say that we've learned something from this conversation. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and I'm sure everyone out there has learned something again from this conversation. What an incredible way to open up these types of conversations with expert advice and a community of women to support you with SALOME. Your journey matters.
Cysts in the ovaries, irregular or missing periods, and high male sex hormones are symptoms of polycystic ovary syndrome. If you experience 2 of these 3, you may have it. It's also the leading cause of infertility in women. SALOME Fertility helps regulate ovarian function and helps improve fertility. SALOME PCOS helps regulate menstruation and reduces the male sex hormones. Get the help you need for PCOS with SALOME. Your journey matters.